A shout to super quality ice cream lovers. Emac and Bolios has already arrived in Thailand.
So it started in 1975 in Boston. It was started by a lawyer named Bob Rook. And Bob Rook was a lawyer who did two things. One thing is he loved rock and roll, and he worked with a lot of big rock and roll acts. Another thing is that he was a hippie who loved helping people who didn't have anybody else to help them. So in 1975, they had something called the Blue Laws in Boston. This meant that the rock and roll and the bars, the places where the rock and roll guys hang out, had to close at midnight. So he rented a basement and he bought an ice cream machine so people could hang out at night, play music, and eat ice cream. And everybody said, Bob, this ice cream is so great, you have to sell it. So they were trying to think of a name for the place, and two of his homeless clients were a guy named Emac and a guy named Bolio. And they were trying to think, what should we call it? And these guys said, hey, why don't you call it Emac and Bolios? And this guy's crazy. He said, okay, let's do it.
And in fact, studied in Boston, I miss your ice cream shop, but I know Ben and Jerry.
Right.
I'm sure they came after you, right?
They came after us. Emac and Bolio started 3 years before Ben and Jerry, actually.
Okay.
We don't know for sure, but we always say it's possible Ben and Jerry came down to Boston one day, tried the ice cream, looked in the window and said, hey, this is a good idea. And, the rest is history.
The way they came up with the title.
Right, exactly.
Says a lot as well, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And so the spirit of the ice cream and the spirit of the hippie movement came together, and it's kind of what made Emac and Bolio such a big fan favorite in Boston. And now there's also 3 in New York City, upstate New York, Illinois, and now in Thailand, Abu Dhabi, and soon in Hong Kong and China as well.
Thailand, thanks to you, because you seem to have a different palate that, no ice cream in Thailand, can please you.
Absolutely.
Was that the reason?
Absolutely. It's my favorite ice cream. So actually at first I just contacted these guys and said, hey, can you FedEx me some pints of ice cream? And
for your party?
Just for me to eat.
Come on, Ben.
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah. And it wasn't possible. We looked into it. And FedEx said, no, you can't
You
FedEx
miss it
ice
so
cream.
much.
I missed it so much. I'm an ice cream fanatic. I love ice cream.
Okay.
So I've been in Thailand for 10 years. When we first started this, I'd been here for 8 years, and I eat all the ice cream in Thailand, but it just never hit the mark. It's never, you've got that itch that you just can't scratch. And for me, that was Emac and Bolio ice cream. I missed so much at home. So when I'm in New York, I eat pints of the stuff. When I come back to Thailand, I just miss it. So we couldn't FedEx it. So I was thinking, well, how can I get this ice cream here? Finally, I said to them, what if we open an Emac and Bolio in Thailand? And they said, well, that's a possibility. Maybe that's something we can do.
Okay.
And 2 years later, after a lot of back and forth, working with the Thai government, all the ice cream is made in America.
Okay.
So the ice cream you eat here tastes exactly the same as the ice cream you eat in
All
Boston or New York.
imported.
It's all imported. Even if you import the milk and the different ingredients and mix it up in Thailand,
No, it's different.
it's going to be different. The temperature, the humidity, all these little factors.
And you managed to import like 34 flavors, you said.
Yeah, it took us about a year and a half to really figure out working with the Thai FDA, because bringing in new ice cream to Thailand is pretty much the same process as bringing in a pharmaceutical product. It's that stringent.
Wow.
So it took us a long time, but we finally got it figured out, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. Well, thank you.
Ice cream history.
Ice cream is good. So now we have 3 outlets in Thailand.
Right.
In Bangkok.
In Bangkok. It's got Nichidatani, it's the original one, that's out at Chiang Watanat, where the ISB school is.
Pretty obvious, yeah.
And then number 2 is Central World, and number 3, Central Plaza, Wat Crown. Next month, we'll be opening in the Helix in M. Portier. That's the new Emporium. So that's going to be the fanciest Emac and Bolio in Thailand.
At the M. Portier.
Yeah, it's going to be a beautiful store. And then after that, we'll be opening in CM Center at the end of May. That's going to be a great location. It's got a great vibe, a really good energy with a lot of young people there. And then later in the year, we'll be opening at the Mall Bangkapi and a few other locations, I think, as well.
All right.
That's our conversation with Ben Leiner in April of 2015 at Emac and Bolios on the Nomad. I'm Varin Sachadeo. Sawadee krap.